Welcome, everybody, to episode 130 of Bloody Thumbs Podcast with I, Splinter47.
And myself, C.H. Gorog. Very nice to be here again. How you doing, Splinter?
Doing fantastic, sir. It's nice that we're actually doing this over on Google Hangouts again, now that I got the good old webcam going.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'd appreciate it, though, if you put your shirt back on, just out of curiosity. It's like, okay, I don't want to pry, but
they're not real. They're artificial. They're part of these Google effects. I got the situation abs going right now.
I have the abs of Jabba the Hutt, so that's even better if we just avoided that one altogether. So, ladies and gentlemen, you will not be seeing me shirtless at any point in time. So, thank you, lucky stars, on that one.
You gotta thank the goddess for that.
Thank the goddess, and speaking of thanking the goddess, I finally downloaded the Citadel DLC, and I kind of tried to blow through the entire game, just getting my characters up to where it was. Like during the dialogue, just keep pressing X to the point where I accidentally sent Caden away after the whole Citadel attack. And he was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not seeing his character ever again. And then I haven't talked to Zaid yet or Miranda. So
man.
I have a third of all the characters I could have on at the party and everything was they're sent away. But from what I played, Citadel is an excellent add-on. It's more lighthearted in tone, and I love the fact that, oh my God, someone actually talked about Shepard saying I should go so many times.
I know, that's one of my favorite moments in the game. There's so many self-referential moments that just make it a very, very nice experience to play through again. Just kind of the last bit of DLC for 3, and just kind of to wrap things up there with just reminiscing on the past with your crew members you didn't get too much time with in that third one, because due to the situation and whatever reason that they added in there, it was nice that most of the you got more, I think, additional romance scenes. I didn't get to see all of them, but unfortunately, I didn't get to see or play through my Shepard storyline, because I had a lot to play through, because I lost my saves for the third game.
Oh, that's too bad.
Which is a shame. I tried to play as much as I can leading up to that DLC's release. I think it was the night before. I think I got up to the part where it was where you're disabling the bomb on the Krogan planet, I think. And then when I figured out, when I was looking through, I don't know how far I still had to go, but it was way too much to go into again. It's just for the DLC alone, but fortunately I didn't have another save. It was the female FemShep save, so I got to play through that. It was right before the final mission, and then it leads on to everything else after that with Elusive Man.
No, nice.
So yeah, it was great. I'll probably have to eventually replay that DLC again to see the male Shep version of it, and see how they handle all the stuff there with my character and Miranda, because we did a nice storyline there with them getting together in second and third one, and having it be a little awkward with Ashley asking about who's this girl, and when she was in the hospital, and I just didn't think about it. I was like, what was that?
I'm sorry?
No.
Okay.
Even
show me your soda.
I know. Even on Google Chats, it's still, we're always talking over each other. It's hard to get a grasp of the delay on this thing.
Well, no matter what program we're using, there always has to be consistency. So if we're not talking over each other, then frankly, I'm not even sure what show we're on.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do, what they handle with that. But there's so much little Easter eggs and interesting and funny scenes you could completely miss, because there were a couple of I did miss and watched on YouTube. It was like, man, how did I miss this?
Yeah, I do like the fact that almost everyone has a bit of dialogue, and this is just tongue-in-cheek humor. It's so much fun, and I do like the fact, like, even little things like where they have you're selecting a squad, and whoever you use the least will comment like, "Oh, he never chooses me," and it was Javik who said this, like, "Yeah, it's because you're depressing as hell. I don't want you around me just because, like, back in my time, like, everyone died." It's like, okay, you're not exactly the guy I want to bring along for moral support.
Yeah, bring the whole morale of the group down. You wouldn't want that.
Mm-hmm. But it's a great last hurrah for the characters there. I mean, there's a lot of cool extras and stuff that, like, I love the party that you can throw at the end where everybody, like, I chose to go wild and buck crazy, just like everyone's getting drunk and grunts in the shower. He's like, "I love you guys," and turning away people at the door. And it's just a fun as hell little thing. And then they have that the simulator where you can face off against waves of enemies, and that's awesome. I love that. And it's the story is like crazy, exaggerated, self-referential. It has a lot of satire of their own universe, and it made me realize it's going to be a very interesting endeavor playing through all three of them together. Like, I'm thinking about, like, just wiping out all my saves, starting from the very beginning, and then knowing all the twists and turns that happen. I want to see kind of what transpires as the Commander Shepard, the Citadel hero, and this is my favorite store in the Citadel. I wish that they had a reference to the "I'm Commander Shepard. This is my favorite. This. Like. Maybe it's in there. I don't know, but I haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah, I was fully expecting when I was playing through that, and once I've got the tone and feel of the DLC and how meta it was, that I would have some sort of encounter with multiple shopkeepers about endorsing their stores. I thought that would have been funny.
That would have been great if it, like, you're fighting against this mysterious force and all these people working for a mysterious leader in the Citadel DLC. I would have loved it if it turns out it's just the guild of all these merchants who got together, realized that you gave the same endorsement as the other guys, and just decided, like, okay, we're taking them out. You don't screw with Macy's, and this is why. We'll make a parade with your ass.
Paragon your way out of it.
Like, come on, guys, we can talk this out. Maybe I can give you an endorsement. Okay, wait a minute. That's how we got in this situation.
Yeah, and I don't know how far you've gone on it, but there were definitely a couple of moments where they intentionally go all out with some of the kind of Paragon Renegade choices where it doesn't really matter. It's more of a kind of the staple mark of those games, and they make fun of that a couple times in it.
Yeah, it's just incredible as to the into the depth that they go, where they make fun of themselves, and they make it's much more lighthearted, but it definitely still fits within the theme of what the Mass Effect universe is, and it really makes me interested to see what they do with Mass Effect 4. If this is going to be their new trilogy, maybe it's going to be a standalone sort of thing. And I do feel like that they've really learned from their mistakes, and with the elephant in the room of the Mass Effect 3 ending and kind of Casey Hudson's allegedly poking into other people's affairs, that they'll learn now that you should just let the writers be. Yeah,
that was certainly one of the big things about 3. But it's been almost a year. I think it's literally a year since that game's come out, and I've like I said, when I was replaying Mass Effect 3 again, just to see if I could at least get close enough to play that DLC as the male Shepard, I was listening to our review of it, and it's like some of our we were pretty still spot on some of the things there, and it still got me to think how different my opinion has been about it since then. Like, when we first finished that Mass Effect 3, I've had that feeling of oh man, I'm so depressed. I can't even think about playing the entire series over again.
It's going to be like a huge time sink where it's going to be like 70 plus hours of mining for those minerals and recruiting characters. And while I love the voice acting and everything about the games and just I love the characters and just everything that they have about it. I would love to see. It is just a huge amount of time that you're going to have to put into playing the games again and getting really invested. So maybe not immediately going right back to it, just because I've got some other games in the docket that I want to play.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing that I was going through, trying to replay it through that. It's like I love it. I love playing through it, but I didn't like rushing to it. Rushing to get to the point where I could play the DLC. It's like it kind of just took a break from that and picked up on where I left off on the other save for that DLC. But now, if I ever do get a lot of time, I probably will get a bit nostalgic and play through the first and all the way to the third. I played the first one, I think, the most out of all the games. It's probably pretty close to the same amount of times I played 2. It was probably about 10 times.
Yeah, there is something very interesting about that first one, even more than the other 2, where it doesn't have the same gameplay feel, but just the introduction to the universe is so well done that it just makes you realize, like, oh wow, this is the first. Like, they all have all the iterations of the franchise have their different feel to them. Like, the first one is like classic space epic, space opera, enjoying, getting a team together, fighting off the evil scourges of the galaxy. The second one is like, okay, it's the darker one. You're picking up a lot more shadier characters, and then you're doing a suicide mission, and then the third one is all out war. And it's just something about that first one where it seems much more atmospheric than the other 2, where it's. Right. It's just that the music that they have in here is a lot quieter and a lot more subdued, but it's still in the background there, and I do wish that they would have BioWare streamlined the process of, like, okay, there's people on the street talking to each other, and they have certain issues come up, like somebody who didn't know what to do with their pregnancy. Like, there's a woman who wanted to avoid doing having the pregnancy be altered anyway, but then there was her brother-in-law who was trying to convince her, like, no, you should get this medication so your son is healthy. But it's like, oh, but there's a chance that there's nothing wrong with him, and if they do take the medication, then there's a chance that he'll develop some problems. And so, like, getting involved with those kind of dialogue options, I like that, because it makes me realize, like, oh, okay, there's these cool side missions throughout the galaxy, and it's not just. If you want me to fall in love with the universe, don't make me just think that this is the only story you can tell. And with Mass Effect, it's like, okay, there's all these little stories going around, happening all over the place, and it's not just you in this room. It's everything going around.
Yeah, I remember that's the main things that stood out to me in the first one. Those moments that I think that was on the Citadel, passing by the Citadel, I think around that area where that Asari is, where she, if you talk to her enough and get in there, when there's a whole line of people waiting to see her, I don't know, I forgot what she does, but
well, it's like she either gives you a trinket that doesn't do anything, or she has sex with you. That's actually kind of the entire franchise boiled down to a T. It's like, you do this thing, and you either get, like, a gun or a character, or you have sex with somebody.
Mm-hmm. She tells you how you're destined for good, and something that's going to be pretty prevalent into the series, but still kind of little vague enough to keep you guessing. But yeah, those moments were great about that game. It, like you said, that was the word that I thought of in my mind when I think of 1. It was very atmospheric, and all the side quests you do, it really was heavily involved. It wasn't just this go here in this same area where that character is and talk to somebody else. It was more about getting to know a little bit more about them and doing their side quests, and it often involved going on another planet and doing some of the Mako stuff and going to the certain areas in the hubs where you go inside those rooms, and there's usually something going on there. and all the way in deep space. That's what I think that was one of the main things about it, because you can freely go around different planets, even though there wasn't too much on those planets, but they were just they were enough to make you feel like you're a small part in this big world, big galaxy. Yeah.
And I love the fact that one of Edie's the AI that takes control of the Cerberus facility in a small side mission in the first Mass Effect game that you could easily miss or just like not even pay attention to was actually where Edie came from, and like her whole origin story is there. I was like, wow, that's really cool. I just got this little touch in there that fleshed out the universe that much.
Exactly. So yeah, you're digging the DLC there. It's definitely worth $15.
It's good use of money, and I'm fortunate enough that this yesterday was my birthday, so I got some nice presents alongside, and one of them was a video game capture card. So gonna get that locked and loaded, and gonna be uploading some videos with actual my own video game videos instead of relying on other people's, and then shamelessly trying to hide their tags, like oh, come on down to machinima.com. Nope, gonna put a giant X there. It's my video.
Best of luck. Best of luck.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it, and and also some other video games that that I've been playing for a little bit. One of them is oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Oh yeah, I actually
blanking.
What game were we talking about last time? Because there was something I wanted to talk about that, because you got the Citadel DLC, and then I tried to download something else.
Oh, I'd have to
dig deep
into the trenches of my head.
Yeah, anywho, that, and I also picked up the Devil May Cry HD collection pack for some of the birthday money that I got, and I have to say this it's not bad, but I'm actually really surprised that people just replaying Devil May Cry 3. It's like, wow, okay, this is a lot more slower than I remembered. It's not even as fast paced as like the new ones, even though this one is apparently at 60 frames per second or what have you, but it feels a lot heavier, a lot slower, and it does that thing which I absolutely hate in video games, where it's the narrative dissonance, where you have like Dante, who's just doing flips, and he one of the opening scene is him getting stabbed with scythes from 7 different enemies, and he just walks off and then keeps going, and then in the game, he gets someone punches him and he gets sent flying back. It's like, you need to understand. You need to make the rules of what is and what is not. If physics don't matter, then don't make them a key part to certain things. Like Bayonetta, the physics are ludicrous, but then again, so is the game. It never steps back and says nope, this is all serious.
Oh yeah, we got. I guess they were going for a big opening there, as most of those beat 'em up games try to do.
Mm-hmm. Especially with that at that period of time, just okay, we need to have the most ludicrous fighting game out there. So it's like Devil May Cry. It's all about style, all about these cool things, like a lady using her motorcycle for hand-to-hand combat. It's like, you get the flavor, but just the gameplay doesn't match up entirely, which is something that that developers should strive for, and they do that very well. And actually, in other games that I've been playing, there I do remember the other one that I want to talk to you about, which is Shadow Complex, which is the Metroidvania style game where it's kind of 2D, 2.5D. That's not, I don't even know, but it's a really fun game. It's an excellent sense of progression where you go around and you're collecting new items and just figuring out how everything works, and you slowly go from this guy who's just got a gun to being this superpowered android badass taking out one guy after another, and the sense of progression is really great. Even you definitely feel a lot more than in like the Metroid games, like Fusion or in Zero Mission.
Yeah, that's been one downloadable title I've been meaning to actually check out for quite a while. It's been up. It's always, I think it's always up there on the Xbox Live Arcade. I think it's rated pretty highly up there.
Yep. And the only thing that I was speaking, I just wanted to also mention that for those of you out there, we have our contest, and we've been talking about it, and I don't know if if we're going to stick with this, but an idea that we've been having with just having an obscure character contest where we put up a character, and you gotta find out who he is or who she is or who it is, and then by golly, you guess it right, then you'll win a couple of free games and some movies. And I've offered to put up the new Tomb Raider game, and I think one of them. What did I say that the other two games? Do you happen to remember?
It was it Metal Gear?
I don't know. I'd be happy to pay for the the Metal Gear HD collection for anybody who wants it. And then I also have a download code for a Castlevania Symphony of the Night for Xbox 360 though, not for PS3. I think you can only use the download code for Xbox. It would be interesting if you could do it cross-platform, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wish I could remember what else you brought up, but Tomb Raider is the hot thing so far of the month up until
what all the kids like these days.
What all the kids like, and that'd certainly be one fine prize I like to have.
Yes, indeed, it's been getting excellent word of mouth with the single player, and it looks like Lara Croft is back in this time. She's not as cheesy or as. And it looks like that she's not smuggling Zeppelins underneath her shirt as previous iterations have had her. So I myself have not played the game, but I've heard nothing but good things about it.
She's still getting her ass kicked by almost everything in that game from what I've seen, and from what I recall from that E3 video we did last year where it was she used the shotgun to shoot a log out of the way or something, which was pretty cool.
The shotgun with termite shells, and just she from that trailer alone, she gets her ass beat down. Where it's like everything she does, like there's either like a rock smacking her in the face, or there's a guy with a lead pipe just right above her head, like conking her out, or just it's like any form of. It's like, oh man, what else could go wrong? It happens. It's almost like it's comical to the extent of like, oh gosh, like I can't believe I survived that. Oh no, there's that giant tree. It's about to fall on me. And it definitely looks very interesting, but I just can't help remember. But I can't help but think of the woman from the scene in Airplane where she's like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Calm down. Like Leslie Nielsen's like slapping her. And then there's people like time after time like taking the other person's place and progressively beating her up even more until there's like a whole line of people like with lead pipes and like a hatchet and a gun. It's like a glutton for punishment would probably be an apt description.
Yeah, it gets pretty intense, those scenes, and I haven't heard much of anything about those in particular. It's like I said, I was always pretty open about what they were going to do with that character and how they beat her up and then slowly progress her up as being more of a different character than she was in the beginning. It's all about the context, people, and people were always assuming assuming about how much she takes in those scenes we've seen of her in those gameplay footages.
I mean, of course, it's always going to be people making a stink about video games, and it's like pointing to these scenes that they say like, oh, this is sexually, like he's like the Mass Effect, Fox News outcry where he's like, this is a sex simulator. It's like, woman, have you seen this game? There's no nipple. There's a hint of a butt in one of the sex scenes, but that's it. You see worse stuff on cable TV, and people overreact a lot of times, and just I certainly think that that's definitely the case with Tomb Raider, where it's just people saying, oh my gosh, it's like, oh, they're just beating her up, and they're threatening her with rape and what have you, and it's just like, wow, just wait for it to come out, and then you'll get the whole story. Definitely.
I never assume a lot of things about games until I actually play them or see some gameplay footage. So yeah, Tomb Raider it's one of the prizes you'll be giving away. I don't know if you've got anything else on the docket there. You could probably add. I'm thinking we could do. I know this is something we could have talked about before, but I think this will be interesting. I think this episode in particular, we'll get together and put that obscure character picture and let some time pass, maybe an episode or two, and then if anyone figures out who that is, we'll give away that one, and then continue on and do another question or something that the listeners can submit to, and give it another episode or two, and I'll give away the Blu-rays, the ultraviolets, digital copies.
Nice.
Oh, digital copies of some of the films that I got.
With the movie Ultraviolet?
Ultraviolet? No, not Ultraviolet.
Oh,
unfortunately not.
That would have been a great one, but nah, too bad.
So I think that'd be a good thing to go with there, and keep doing prizes over the course of our episodes, maybe once or twice, once people get their submissions in.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to it, and
definitely keep a lookout. Most likely, if you have the picture there, we'll post it in the show notes for this one, and we'll give the listeners out there some time to submit them. Did you want to do it? Whoever gets it first wins it, or whoever, or the multiple people who get the submissions in, and we'll just like draw a name at random.
Sure, yeah, we'll do that. Just whoever gets it in first, and then we'll send off some prizes, and we'll keep it secret until the next show comes around, and just fill the inbox with. I would suggest sending the answers to my inbox so I can kind of categorize and archive them all, and then about an episode or two will go by, and then we'll announce a winner.
That sounds like a good idea. So anyone out there listening who's on Spill.com and has an account there, be sure to message CHGorog up on there, and with your submissions, and we'll announce a winner in an episode or two, and see what happens. If you're not on the site, I think it'd be wise to either email or tweet us something. Probably email at bloodythumbspodcast@gmail.com. That'd be a good place to go there. So you got two options there. If you don't have email, I don't know what's going on with you. Either living out in the very secluded area with you don't want to get tracked, which I guess is understandable. Nothing wrong with that. If you want to send carrier pigeons or owls, that'd be fine. I'll
smoke signals, or we can meet out in the abandoned 7-Eleven parking lot, and then do the exchange there. Whatever you feel like.
Yeah, either or. So all the necessary information and links will be provided on the show notes. So keep a lookout on that, either on the Spill.com site, the BGB.com site, or the Bloody Thumbs WordPress site. So keep it low, keep it locked, people. You want to win a game, you got to submit your answers to CH or email at BloodyThumbsPodcast.com. BloodyThumbsPodcast@gmail.com. All right.
Absolutely. And just keep it locked in, and we will make sure to announce a winner relatively soon. So just send in those submissions quickly, and you shall have a good chance at getting the prize of the DVDs and the video games.
Looking quite forward to this one, good sir.
Yes, indeed. And speaking of things I'm looking forward to, BioShock Infinite is releasing on the 26th.
I know, it feels like I don't know, it felt like it was coming out later on in the year. I just haven't kept track of release dates, and this is one example here where it was a pleasant surprise to see that it was coming out later this month. I've seen some commercials for it, which look pretty good. I don't know if you've seen the ones on TV, but it was just basically not in-game footage of just what the game's about, and like a scene where you're saving the main female character.
I want to call Elizabeth. Yes.
Elizabeth.
And I have seen that. I've actually brought up right now where it's all kind of the CG cutscene of Booker saving Elizabeth, and that looks pretty badass. And it does get across the concept of where it is, what's going on, who the characters are, what type of enemies, and what type of powers you got. And very, very cool. And I'm a huge fan of the fact that they did what great sequels or iterations in the franchise do, and just made the inverse of the original, where it's this is taking place in Colombia, where it's beautiful, this saturated and just golden colors, and like, oh wow, this is so awesome! I can't wait to play this.
Yeah, I don't know if they released any other type of gameplay. I think they've shown quite a few amount of stuff during E3 or any, but I don't think they've, from what I've remember, I haven't really kept up with it much. I've been meaning to just keep it more of a surprise as I go when I pick it up. So it's from what I've seen with E3, and just it being same developers that did BioShock and 2, BioShock 1 and 2, it's certainly one to look out for, and it's going to be probably one of the most noteworthy ones of this year.
Like 85 awards already at the E3, and people have been jumping up and down, chomping at the bit, trying to get at it. And I don't. The only thing kind of remains to be seen is like if it's just BioShock and thematic content, or if it's kind of maybe a prequel to the original one. It doesn't seem like it's really related, just because it's taking place in 1905, and it's like, okay, it's this flying city, and it doesn't seem to have that much related to the first BioShock. But who knows? Maybe it's a prequel, and so it's interesting to see kind of like, okay, it was a stretch to think of like, during the time of World War II, and I'm sorry, after the nuclear bomb was deployed, then Andrew Ryan going to the bottom of the ocean to make a city. But they explain that pretty thoroughly. I'm very interested to see how they're going to explain a giant floating city. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense, I guess. So maybe it was like early 20th century exceptionism. It was like, yeah, let's just do things because we can.
Yeah, we'll see how they handle that. I'm very, very excited to see how they open the game. I think that's one of the strongest things that BioShock 1 had. It had a really strong opening. Really got you into that mood and feel like it's a real world, real underwaters civilization, Atlantis style.
Yeah. Everyone like always says like, oh, it's this, it's basically Ayn Rand's philosophy, but like no one ever seems to mention the fact that it is, that's also, it seems to be like very near Atlantis sort of, or type of topography, and it's like, oh, that's too bad, because that would have been an interesting sort of, a comparison to actually think about it, because not a lot of people bring that up. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
There we are.
One of the many to few who brought it up.
We are pioneers.
Pioneers. And I was just noticing that the recent announcement made from Deep Silver on Saints Row 4 later this year.
Oh, cool. Excellent.
They did a trailer for it. So it's, your typical Saints Row going all out and crazy with all the different weapons and costumes and customizations you can don your character as. So I like Saints Row 2 and 3. Those were fun games, so I'm relatively looking forward to Saints Row 4 and seeing what that kind of DLC they were working on and ended up turning into a full-fledged game is all about.
It's, yeah, I'm fairly interested. I'm sorry?
No, I'm sorry. I was looking. It seems that they added some superpowers and being able to leap over buildings. From what I've copy and pasted in Google Docs.
I love the Saints Row series, and the franchise thing is just very smart writing. It said that it's the last Saints Row game with this sort of setting and protagonist where they're taking over America, I think. And from the summary, and it looks crazy, and they've got more stuff in there. They had the epileptic seizure-inducing trailer where it's like constantly flashing. It's like a very colorful girl with a dragon tattoo trailer, and it's a lot of people have been saying that the game is actually a lot of DLC that they didn't really release because of not Volition, but THQ. Yeah, going through financial struggles, and so. People are saying like, "Oh, this is just a beefed up version of that." And even if that's the case, I hope that it's a good standalone game by itself, and that it ends the series well, or this part of the series, because Saints Row has made money, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they do next.
Definitely, we'll see. Maybe they'll add more to it, because I don't know if there was going to be DLC. How long that would have been, because most of the DLC for 3 has been pretty disappointing for most who played it, so it wasn't necessarily worth purchasing a season pass for. But the overall core game, without the DLC, was more of the solid part of the game. So, but we'll see with how the DLC is for the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm also a little bit hesitant about DLC now these days, especially since not only do they have like microtransaction DLCs, like, oh, get a gun, get this costume, get this thing, and then it makes me say like, okay, I'm just gonna wait a year until the Game of the Year edition is released, and then pick it up. And if it's good enough by itself, and it didn't do the Saints Row the third what they did, where it was just like, okay, they have this game and they have all this DLC content they've already made, but they don't want to include it in the game, and they're just dealing it out piecemeal. It's like, okay, I got it. It's you guys want to make some money, and the stuff really isn't that necessary. But it's like, come on, you guys can do better. Like, wouldn't you want a higher score on Metacritic and more people to take interest in your game if it was all that stuff that you're holding was in the game? And yeah, but anyway, the Saints Row games have been really, really fun and just wacky and crazy, and they have a lot of great voice acting. And there was a porn star who actually gave a really good performance in there. Actually, there are two porn stars in there. The first one was in the DLC for Saints Row 2, and there was one for the third who played Violet, I think her name is.
It was Sasha Grey.
Sasha Grey. She actually gave a really good performance, as well as Hulk Hogan, baby, yeah. It was Hulk's back in town, and he had a great his character was great, and he had David Keith, who was Julius, and he was like, his character was awesome, and I just love how it just establishes a great style for itself outside of the GTA sort of clone areas, where it's like, okay, this is ridiculous, over the top. We know it, you know it. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I actually like how they invested the time to add multiple voiceovers for your main character. Like, just one option is just have like just like a mushmouth zombie making noise. I don't know how it translates over the course of the entire game, just to get I don't know how you make any sense.
They're trying it. Well, maybe they'll have subtitles. Maybe it'll be like Brad Pitt's character from Snatch, where he's like, he's just either talking gibberish, or in this case, he's just talking kind of mush mouth, and they just give him some subtitles every now and then.
Seems to be if even reaches the point where the subtitles can't even understand them.
Dags. Dogs? Yeah, I like dags.
The DLC then. It'll be DLC. That
Oh,
got
you-
me. That got me to think because with DLC, there's been a lot of DLC for Mass Effect 3, so I'd be curious to see if they actually release some sort of Game of the Year edition of that. That'd be a lot of content for that game, and most of the time it will be pretty recently priced, like $40 at $30 at the max. I think that's how much Saints Row the Third Game of the Year edition is, around like $40.
Yeah, it's. But you know, I am interested in as you were saying, Mass Effect trilogy, where you know I think they're going to release a holistic Game of the Year edition version for Mass Effect 3. But I'm also interested in seeing them do it with the entire trilogy, where it's all 3 games, all the DLC, all the stuff just in there. And that would be a great bargain because like they already have the trilogy edition on Amazon, and it's the price of one game. Where it's that's a lot of content. Like they had these HD packs where it's like, okay, the Devil May Cry games. You had Metal Gear Solid having Metal Gear Solid Collection having 5 really great Metal Gear games with Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 in there, and then you have. And then you have then you have like the God of War collection where it's like all the 2 big games, the cell phone game and the PlayStation portable games. Like I really like the fact that there's now more of these compendiums and these collections that people are now striving for, and I'm definitely looking forward to it, and definitely looking forward to kind of that trend in video games right now.
Oh yeah, that's certainly something that is very appealing for those who haven't played the game at its original launch. It's certainly a bargain for those who purchase it. Maybe I will do that. Maybe purchase some sort of complete bundle that has everything in it. But to this day I haven't really done so because I kind of already have them. So even most of the DLCs, especially for like let's say Arkham City, were just mainly challenge room stuff, and costumes. But just the costume packs alone were pretty interesting to play through. Just the Dark Knight Returns one is a very favorite skit of mine that I use for the combat room stuff, which I liked doing in trying to get high enough scores and combos in that one.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is, wow, that Batman Beyond costume does not exactly translate that well to the 3D sphere, where it's like, okay, in the original cartoon, it was like, oh, that looks pretty badass. Like, I would really be interested to see what it looks like in real life. And then in real life, it just looks like a giant naked man painted black, and with the Batman symbol on his chest. Like, this is strange. It doesn't really look that great, especially with his lips, where it's all the costume's also covering his lips. Like, what did you do with this? Like, it looks like, I don't know, what is the not Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe.
I was
the G.I. Joe
that.
movie where and it looks a bit off,
I think it could have been. I think it could have worked. It's just that it didn't change his physical appearance, because the Batman Beyond character is not Bruce Wayne. It's like a younger college student, and he's more
Terry McGinnis.
He's more thin in frame than Batman is, more kind of bulky and muscular guy. So that's probably why it didn't work for me, because it was just it looked weird because it was just this big muscular guy painted black. It almost looked like Spawn.
Yeah, good eyes. Yeah, that's I forgot about that. I can definitely see him looking like Spawn, but and just I don't have a problem with costume packs, but I don't know. When you overcharge people for those things, it feels like a ripoff, and especially if it's just like day one DLC. That's not automatically with the content as well. Like if you buy a new game, then it comes with the content. Like with Mass Effect 3, you get Javik for if you bought the game new, and I can understand. But there's the feeling of okay, I don't exactly appreciate you guys like maps and costumes on day one that you can't get unless you purchase them separately.
I think the way to handle that, and because I know that they do that just to combat used games with the DLC, or whether it be that or online passes. I think they should just have. It may not be the perfect solution, but they should have it where if you buy the game new, incentivize people to buy the game new, and then be able to get that day one DLC, whatever it is, if it's a map or let's say a character in the new Mass Effect game, something like that would be, I guess, an interesting approach to it, and not a perfect solution, but so I think it's certainly a lot more better to look at it like that rather than purchasing a $10 DLC on day one. Things DLC like that I don't mind completely. If it's like Mass Effect, it's always jam full of content with most of their DLCs, and getting it in a Gamer of the Year edition is just very, very nice, and it's very suitable for my case because I don't have a big hard drive on my Xbox, so I have to constantly allocate and manage a lot of what I should delete and not delete in order to get things to work on it.
All right.
Especially with Mass Effect, because if you have a save, most of the stuff if you play any of the DLC, you have to have the DLC on your hard drive in order to continue playing that save file.
Yeah, and it becomes quite a nuisance when you have to, delete space with games that you want to keep the data on your hard drive, and then you have to re-download everything if you want to play it right, like map packs for some of the Halo games, or you won't want to replay, I don't know, Lair of the Shadow Broker, so you gotta delete all the memory from these games. It's a pain in the butt.
It's a tedious and redundant method. I hope with the newer consoles, you're at least with 360. I don't know about the PS3 has always got a lot of hard drive space. That's certainly not really the issue. I guess most of the time with that, it's just that with 360 now, it's even if you plug in a hard drive, external hard drive, there's a certain set limit that you can put data in. It's like, God damn it, I got like 500 gigs on this thing. It'd be so ideal to plug it in and have all the DLC in there, and then install my games on the Xbox. But no, there's only like a 20 gig limit on when you plug it in.
What are you doing to us, Microsoft? We got hope in you, and you're letting us down.
If you want to win the next console cycle, get rid of Microsoft points and increase the limit on externals. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't even know what's the point of Microsoft points.
I don't know. There is no point, but I think there is a tactic that I think they know that they're doing. Especially it was the case for the WWE 13 DLC stuff, which is really really nice because it's if you download a wrestler, they're only like 99 cents, so it's not not that bad of a deal. But it's just that you can't purchase that alone DLC for 99 cents. You have to purchase the lowest pack available of Microsoft points, which is like 800, which is like $4.99. And I did not want to do that. I just wanted to get that one DLC character, but I just ended up having to download other ones that were there just so that they don't go to waste. So I'm not gonna get anything else with it. They don't even out properly. Like there isn't any other than Microsoft avatars, which I don't really purchase. There isn't anything else that after you get that 99 cents one and it goes down and the points you have left, there's not a lot of stuff that evens out to that what you can get that's pretty decent. Not even arcade stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually just quickly looked it up, and apparently it's the reason why they use Microsoft points is that not every place uses the same currency, so that makes sense to have kind of a unifying factor but also they don't have to deal with taxes because every individual sale has to have tax associated to it. So why deal with dollars and cents for for these little microtransactions where you can just like get the points and then do it? I understand, but it's still it's still annoying.
I get it, but it's not perfect.
Yeah, and speaking of not perfect, EA's SimCity has been more than helpful in terms of passing the time in the news for a lot of reasons. Because recently, they've been just ignoring the elephant in the room of, okay, nobody likes what we're currently doing with the game with the always-on DRM, where our servers are down. So, and this is something I want to talk about, where it's, let me get my soapbox, let me polish it off, and let me dust it off and stand on it.
I see
and
it.
I gotta say, these practices of always on DRM and this constant, it's exponentially getting worse of companies not trusting consumers to buy their products legally. Like dealing with piracy and used games, and they don't want that to happen. So what they do is they get these gimmicks and other things to ensure more money, but through that they're actually harming themselves more. It's worse. It's usually worse because when you have this always on DRM sort of thing going on, and you don't uphold the end of the bargain, you're betraying that trust. You're telling the customers, okay, we have these different these financial things that we want to put out, but we don't actually know how to do them right. So what's to instill the trust in the consumers? I understand, like maybe a server goes down, and that can happen, but you have this in Diablo 3 showing you, okay, you have always on DRM, and it's going to be a problem if you can't find a Wi-Fi connection, or we can't uphold the end of our bargain, even though we are upholding you to yours, and it's ridiculous right now, and even more so EA's archaic dinosaur level quality of just bad business decisions. So. I want to thank EA very much for SimCity and for making this just the thing to talk about right now.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't know how much of the DRM issue, or the thing that the DRM has been implemented in the game, I don't know how much of that is the reason why it's affecting this terrible launch. Mainly, it just seems from what I've heard and read, it's a lot to do with them being unprepared for the server side of handling so much data that's going on with and it's people who purchased it, and it sucks that they don't offer any refunds, and it's been terrible for them on Amazon. People rated it so low that it's got taken down by Amazon on their games market because it's just people couldn't play the game, so that's pretty terrible. It's terrible that you can't even play it offline. That's I guess that is where DRM comes into the focal point of this discussion. It's how it undermines and just diminishes the experience that the people have to play that game, and those who paid good money for that in the collectors or whatever edition they have for it. That adds more content to it, and and like I said, it's certainly, you wonder why people pirate games.
Yeah. It's like, there's always going to be piracy for everything, where it's games, for music, for movies, for TV shows, for comic books. There will always be piracy, but when you do nothing but make these bad business practices, you're encouraging it, and it's EA is just, they have no idea. Like I'm looking at the Amazon.com reviews on SimCity, the standard edition download, and there's like the 84 for 5 stars, 41 reviewers for 3 stars, and then for 1 star, it's 1,848 reviews, and it is, yeah, it's so ridiculous how they're really getting screwed over, and EA is kind of like saying like, oh, don't worry, you'll love it. You like just wait for a little while, and we'll get this back up and running. But they haven't offered an apology. They haven't offered any other ways to deal with this. Actually, just we'll deal with it, and then the game that you paid $60 for, it'll be working eventually. But we'll get there in our good time.
It's terrible. But lucky those who actually were able to get on a server and play it. And probably it probably is a good game, but it's not a lot of people are being able to play it.
Nope, it's just it's just like, okay, they actually try to cover it up by saying like, oh, everybody on like the only servers that were up and running were the European ones. Like, oh, everyone having such a fun time in the European servers that we're gonna extend it for everybody. It's like, yeah, way to take your fuck up and try to make it look like, okay, this is a great marketing opportunity. I guess they were taking notes from the whole PlayStation Network debacle. Except they're not even going to give people, refunds or reimbursements.
Which is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know how long it's going to take until... I don't know if it's still having issues. Probably.
Yeah, it's too bad, but hey, why focus on that when... I'm sorry?
Oh, my bad. This is certainly a nice little incident to add into our probably future potential Bloody Thumbs Awards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's biggest screw up of this year. There's actually a lot of good contestants this year. We have Gearbox, we have EA. It's like, wow, you got slow down, you guys. Give the other guys a chance. It isn't even the end of the year yet.
I know. Trying to get the sound effect. Yes. There we go.
Perfect. This is why we might have to just go to Google Plus from now on, just because of the ability to add in sound effects.
If anyone wasn't able to hear that, it was the sound effect you get when you get killed in Mario, Super Mario.
Do 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 do. And it's very interesting that we're talking about SimCity, and if you go on over to Good Old Games, and it's DRM free, and if you pay for the games, then you get the games. And it really is just that simple. And there's just so many cool free games as well, like, was it Sins of a Solar Empire? Or
there are a lot of good stuff on there. So there's so much good games on that site that I haven't played at the time, whether it be because I couldn't run it or just games that are just beloved classics, and just all these, especially like the Siberia series, and these all very critically acclaimed point-click adventures, and they're always adding new things. They got Blood Rain on there. I don't know if that's still holds up or anything, but they have I think you got a good chunk of the Lara Croft stuff and Alan Wake, and there's always some sale going on. So it's definitely a site that you want to play some older games from back in the day. It's certainly a site to always direct your browser to and see what's up on there. I mean, The Witcher's always on sale on this thing.
Yeah, I hope they... I'm on a Mac, so I unfortunately have a much more limited option with the video games. So I hope that they've been talking about making all their games available for download for Mac. So I really hope they go follow through with that, because I would love to play Hotline Miami and Dreamfall, The Longest Journey, and also but I was talking about like, oh, okay. SimCity. Here's SimCity 2000 that they have, where it's actually available for Windows and Mac, and released in '95, and nothing but good reviews that they have on over here.
Booyah! Oh shit! I didn't know that was on there.
Yeah,
SimCity.
SimCity 2000 Special Edition. You know that like it was like that was the hip thing, because like 2000, like 2000, that's gonna all go down. Like everybody loves 2000 coming around, and then it finally came around. I was like, oh, it's kind of just the same as what was going on before. Oh well.
Yeah, I see from one of the screenshots on here is Yeah, it came out in '95, so this is probably when Windows 95 was, or when it was out. Looking through quite a few, there's some really good titles on here for even. There's a section for Mac too, so they already have The Witcher 2 on the Macs. I think that was recently added on.
Oi, Witcher!
Witcher.
And they were plowing good time.
Can't wait for The Witcher 3.
It's. I mean, I actually have The Witcher 2 now, so I can. When I traveled back up to Virginia the other weekend to go grab some stuff, I got The Witcher 2 as well, so I can now finish the game and finally complete the epic adventure, and hopefully in time for The Witcher 3. Oh,
you gotta play that game. It's a lot of fun. I like the lore of the game. It's rare for me to say that a game has gotten me to read a book, but that game has certainly gotten me to read the books that it's based off of. It's a good series of books that I need to read more of, because I've only have the Last Wish and everything else. I think there's like 2 or 3 that are available, and there's like much more that I haven't even been translated yet into English. And there's luckily enough been a lot of fans who've taken the time out and translated the books that are not even available in the U.S. In English, and put it into PDF.
Oh, right. So isn't that basically just the book itself, and you don't have to pay for the book and just download that?
Fans translation, CH. It could be subject to difference in the original, in the actual official release, if they ever do release the English versions.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's nice. It's nice that it's out there, but I can't read things off the computer for too long. That's why I like reading off of either a Kindle or a physical book. It strains the eyes there, buddy.
I will. Yeah, Kindles and with iPads. I don't really get the appeal of them, because it's. I mean, it's like I have a phone, I have a laptop. I don't really need, something between that.
Sure, this is just a matter of preference, but I've read a couple pages of a book on a Kindle. It's not too bad, but I prefer the physical copy of a book. The nice new book smell gets you in the mood to read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very, very interesting, and I like. And is it just me, or there seems to be like this trend of adapting foreign books into video games and them being really, really good, like this, like The Witcher, Metro 2033, and it's like I'm just waiting for them to have the Pride and Prejudice fighting game. It's like, oh, I choose Mr. Darcy.
No, I don't know. It is certainly a slight trend that's going on, and I guess just goes to show you how. Well, even what is it? Spec Ops was based off The Art of War, so books in general it's goes to show you how.
Well, Spec Ops.
Oh, Spec Ops: The Line. What did I say?
No, you said Spec Ops. Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, yeah, that was based on The Art of War, and also on what was it, Heart of Darkness, and it's very interesting too, just because now that I think kind of we're intellectually starving for more stuff now, because we kind of run the gambit of Aliens and Star Wars and Lord of the Rings references in our games, and inspired games, so like where we get to play as dwarves or as space marines. So it's like, okay, we want a little bit more. Let's see what else we got. And so picking up that, like, oh, okay, we have Ayn Rand objectivism and BioShock, and just just like expanding our horizons, as well as the first Assassin's Creed game where it takes place during the Middle Ages. Like that, there are no games that even like were close to that era, and or no, kind of cultish or like kind of mainstream games. And so now we're kind of just trying to gravitate towards anything that we can find. And I like the fact that we're pulling from these other mediums to find something else.
Yeah, especially games like The Witcher. I like how they explore even kind of darker areas in fantasy, and how there really isn't much of a either good or bad thing in the choices you make. They have slight benefits. I mean, when I play those games, I don't go when I make a decision, I don't really think about what I will get out of it in terms of like items, because mostly if it's something like Fallout where it's pretty obvious how you probably benefit on choosing one side just to get it like this interesting weapon and not really think about the kind of overall moral the overall moral dilemma that goes into the choices you make, and sometimes they don't really have a huge effect in those type of games like Fallout or anything, but just more of that game's more about exploring a huge world and meeting interesting characters along the way, and looting a lot of stuff off of dead corpses and blowing up heads like watermelons and like the Django.
Yeah, The Witcher is definitely a great game that understands its universe, and once again, like any good universe, it makes you feel like, okay, there are more characters and stories out there and I'm not seeing the entirety of it. And they have a very interesting kind of style to it all, where it's this regality, but it's also not afraid to be kind of blue collar and crass and violent and filled with sexual stuff, and it's a great game, and I'm looking forward to Witcher 3, especially since the developer went on the record saying that Skyrim it was a good game, but the problem is that it wasn't focused, and because of that, it felt a little bit aimless. So but he's making his world bigger, so it's like, okay, I'd like to see kind of how that pans out.
CD Projekt Red is becoming one of my big developers out there to really support. They really care about their customers, and they put in a lot of work into their games, and didn't even do it that thing that you would expect companies like EA or Activision to do, where they have you pay for an enhanced edition. That because the enhanced edition, if you had it on the PC, you could just download that enhanced edition. That will just there are a lot of things added to it, and it fixes some issues that the game had with its either combat or just controls that they were constantly patching up, and they increased the ability for you to make the game look even more gorgeous than it already is, and just run a lot smoother than when it originally launched. It just goes to show you how much work they put into their games, and looking forward to that, The Witcher 3, and the new game they got going with Cyberpunk, which has a lot of potential, because I really gotten into Cyberpunk, especially after Deus Ex came out, and really got me into that mood.
Yeah, I actually submitted a question. This is my name dropping, but I sent in a question to the League of Leog, and it was just because of the fact that Carlisle, who was kind of a personal hero of mine, it was on was taking the time to talk about his new movie as well as the new Deus Ex movie that he was working on, and he read my question, and I was like, "Yay! I love that! Yay! You got to answer my question." And it was all about like him answering how do you take Deus Ex: Human Revolution, which is it's a great game and a great story, but it's such an interpretational and branching storyline to the point of where one person will get a completely different thematic idea than someone else who played it. Like, there's 4 endings, and all of them are fairly radically different, and it's not saying this one thing about technology, where it's like, oh, technology is good, or technology is bad, or technology... Not even like technology is a tool, and that what we do with it is good or bad. It's just like, it's choose your own morality. And so how do you make that into a movie?
Yeah, it's just going to be a tough challenge to showcase for that. I just have to see, but that was really one of the things that I really enjoyed about the game, how it didn't force a message down your throat. There were just multiple, it felt like it was a real topic of debate and amongst people in the city that you travel in. I think it was mainly Chicago and just other cities. That you go in Shanghai and it's like Montreal, I think. And there were a lot of personality clashes and discussions on technology, a lot of polarizing and a lot of diverse discussions about it. That it's really looking at it from from that perspective, it really isn't a right or wrong answer. It's just a lot of, I guess, how you feel about it, and just seeing that unfold throughout the game was certainly atmospheric enough to get you into the mood and discussing that issue in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's absolutely just a great game, and I wish the production team, the filmmakers behind the adaptation well, just because I would love to see a great video game movie.
Oh yeah, it's certainly one. It hasn't been one has done that. It's simple.
Excuse me, Mortal Kombat was one of the greatest films of my youth.
Well, that's subjective. Well, was that?
No, it is not. It is an objective fact. I mean, you have a man who takes off his mask and he has a skeleton face, breathing fire, and the other man kills him with a shield that has very sharp knives on it. Come on.
Think about it. It might be the best video game movie ever. Just that scene where Johnny Cage punches. What was it?
Goro and the Nads.
Goro and the Nads.
Yeah. Those were $200 glasses, asshole. And I love the fact that they have Kano in there with his metallic left eye, and nobody brings it up. Like there's no talk about the history. It's like, no, it's just a thing. Go with it.
Yeah, no, that was certainly something that they forgot to write in.
It is just so incredibly wonderful, and I strain to think. Okay, I don't think a Mortal Kombat reboot would even be close to being as awesome because of the fact that it doesn't have it wouldn't have the tone of the original, and they would try to make it realistic. But that's the thing about Mortal Kombat. It's not really realistic. It's just like, okay, it's this crazy, exaggerated universe, and crazy things happen. There's like a lady who has got the mouth of a piranha, and there's a lizard man in there, and there's like centaurs and cyborgs. They all exist in the same universe. Like, I love this. Like this, it's just so crazy.
There's just a lot of weird blends of like mythologies of magic, time travel, and robots, and just a lot of elements in place there that is just very hard to put into a film and make any sense. It only works in the video game.
Exactly, or like a very cheesy movie, and so that's why I absolutely love Mortal Kombat. Well, like, have there been any? There haven't been any great video game movies, but has there been any solid attempts that you can think of?
Solid attempts. I have seen my fair share of them. I haven't seen the Far Cry one. It's Uwe Boll directed.
It's Uwe Boll, man, and he's just he's the Orson Welles of our time. He's misunderstood.
No, I think you probably have to go with you on just Mortal Kombat, the first one, because I think it did get the kind of the fun idea of Mortal Kombat and didn't really take itself too seriously. It was cheesy as all hell, but it was fun. It was fun. It's a fun movie to watch, and if you can get any enjoyment out of it, I think that's the idea of what you're striving for, at least in making a pseudo video game movie. But no, I can't think of one that really came close to it. I mean, the Hitman movie was, if you watch it as just not knowing anything about the games, it's a fairly decent action movie. There are some parts in the plot where it's a bit incoherent, but there's some alright action scenes in it. But other than that, it's not one film of a favorite game series of mine that I would particularly had in mind for in its story and how they handled a lot of the origins of Agent 47, and from the beginning, it already started off it already had a rocky start, because I read online that some of the scenes in the beginning of that film where they're showing just a bunch of kids with training, and that was, I guess, a little bit of of the origins from the games of him being bred to be an assassin, but it was like some scenes were taken from the Alias show. That was it. It put it in the movie since it was like from Fox. It was just strange. I don't know why they couldn't just shoot an original scene. Why they had to take a scene from Alias and put it in that movie.
Hey, I mean, you got to reuse. Maybe they were just really environmentally conscious. Like, we got to reuse and recycle. So it's like, hey, we got this from Alias. Why not bring it back? And the only other really solid video game movie I can really think of is the Prince of Persia film, where it was Sands of Time, where it's like a lot of talent and money went behind it, and it's fairly obvious. And Jerry Bruckheimer directed it, and it's like, wow, this is this would be interesting. But then just kind of middle way through, it's like, I'm not really sure what we're doing here, and okay, whatever. It's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, you guys tried at least. It's not a bad film. Like, if you sit down and if you're back and forth between doing some stuff and you sit down to watch, like, yeah, you'll enjoy yourself. But it's not like, wow, this is like the Dark Knight of video game movies, where it's like it's so awesome and epic. It's like it's a nice adventure film.
It is. It's just it's a decent popcorn flick that I don't know how much it made, but I think it's the way they handled it. I think it was pretty accessible for various audiences. I don't know how I haven't played the game, so I don't know how what's the word, how faithful they were to the original source material. I doubt it just from watching the films, but like you said, at least they tried. It wasn't just as put together crap like Max Payne the movie was.
You don't mess with Max Payne. It's like, don't worry, I'm gonna deal with Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch soon. Don't worry. That movie was just strange. There's no other way to put it. Like, the visual style, like, that's kind of cool, but they didn't capture the right tone. I don't think. Not enough kind of noirish sort of look.
No, not at all. They use like fake digital snow too.
Yeah,
which took me out of it.
Yeah, it's like, if you're gonna like do the exaggerated thing, then at least go like the route of like 300, where everything looks very CG'd up and exaggerates. Like, oh, okay, this is not our world. It's kind of a different looking universe. But with them, it's kind of like, oh, we kind of do exaggerated, and then we kind of do real world, and we're not sure where to go. Yeah,
I just at that point when I saw it, I was like, I'd rather just play the games or watch some sort of noirish film. I wish we got more kind of noirish films nowadays. I really enjoyed things like Sin City. I like the presentation of it. I don't know how faithful it was to the comic books, but I fairly enjoyed the movie, and things in movies like Payback with Mel Gibson, where it's he has this. I think in the original version he had like this inside monologue going on. It was very noirish, and just elements of that film where it just got me more interested in reading kind of crime novels and things like of that nature, which I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm. It's it's hard to do noir films, especially when you have the entire noir history at your back. Like, okay, I not only do I have to make a noir film that's good, but also standing up to the standards that these guys set up, and that's kind of hard when you have like the Maltese Falcon and Casablanca as kind of the big leading ones, but it's probably a little bit more safer bet to have an action movie instead, and that's why I really enjoyed what was the Dwayne Johnson film that just came out recently, where he plays an undercover. His son goes to jail for a drug bust, and so he actually wants to help with a drug bust himself, and gets himself embroiled, and it's actually a really taut thriller. You think the trailer is like, okay, it's all action all the time with Dwayne Johnson. It's like, no, it's actually a really good, well developed, excellently paced thriller, and it's more kind of like a detective story than an action film. So I'd recommend you go check that out, because it sounds like it would be right up your alley.
Yeah, Snitch, right? That if you sold me more of that movie than the trailers did.
Yeah. The trailers lie, and especially with with movies these days, where it's if they don't automatically tell you everything that's happening in the plot, well, then they will be more than happy to mislead you in terms of what the film is actually about.
Yeah, they just sometimes they don't. Sometimes the mystery of film and what it's about is nice, and other times they can't really balance it very well. In the industry, they always show too much, and it ends up being pretty predictable when you go out to actually see it. Mainly the horror movies that are PG-13 ones that are just geared towards the teenage audience to watch, and a lot of just trailers that got me interested in seeing it. It just really had to do with the scenes they showed, and it doesn't really have to have much context. Like the scenes with like the movie Seven Psychopaths got me interested in seeing it just by the trailer alone. Just all these scenes with Christopher Walken and all these other actors in the film, Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell and Colin Farrell. Those scenes really got me to see the movie. I didn't know what it was about, but it sold me on the film, and it's a good film.
Still have not seen that one yet, and I can't wait to do so as well. But I'm slowly making my way through the rounds of all the movies and stuff I need to do, and I actually saw Die Hard for the first time last week, and it was like, wow, that I thought like, okay, maybe it'll be kind of, I don't know, cheesy 80s film that doesn't really stand the test of time. It's really good. Excellent characters, great pacing, and it also plays with a lot of the expectations of the genre as well. I love just how John McClane is really neurotic throughout the film, where he's talking to himself, he's doubting himself. It's like, wow, how many action heroes actually do that?
And then when you go see A Good Day to Die Hard, it makes you want to go back and watch the first one.
Oh yeah, A Good Day to Die Hard, where it's like, oh, okay, now you guys don't even know what's going on. Like Bruce Willis just there smiling, like, yeah, I'm gonna check for this.
Yeah, the movie, almost every movie's done. I think except like recently with Looper. That I think Looper he gave a pretty good performance, and in other movies I've seen him in like the Die Hard stuff, like just in Cop Out. It looked like he just didn't want to be there. He's just like there for the check.
Pretty much, where it's like, okay, dude, you're rich. Why are you still doing this? Where it's, I think he just maybe has the Christopher Walken syndrome of like, I need to be in a movie every single weekend. I don't care what it is, just get me in there. And he and Dwayne Johnson seem to be neck and neck for how many films can we appear in this year. Where it's, they've got all their action movies going out, and then you have both of them teaming up in G.I. Joe. So looking forward to that as well. And
headlining WrestleMania.
Oh, very, very true. Looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's. Do you have any things you wanted to bring up on your side? I know there's as much for news. I haven't played much games this week. Been busy, and I picked up Dead Space 2 yesterday.
Excellent!
I haven't played them, and I decided to pick it up because I saw it for $20. It's like, what the hell? I'll play this and play like a good hour and a half, and I'm digging the presentation of the game.
That opening, man, that's just one of my favorite openings. It's like, but you think you're safe? Bam! Not anymore, bitch.
That's intense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played a good 45 minutes of it, and I didn't bring it up on the last episode, but I played Bully on the PC. They were having I usually subscribe to the dealson.com, and you're always updated with whatever kind of gaming related stuff that's on sale. And they had the Rockstar PC game sale for like a good $12. They had Max Payne 2, I think Midnight Club, Bully. Cool. There was some other game in there. I think it was GTA 3 or 4 in there. It's just all for $12 on the PC. So I've been playing Bully on the PC, and I'm really enjoying it. I like the writing in the game. It brings back some memories when I was in school. Not a lot of what happened in that game happened in my school, but some of the just uh, conversations that the characters have, and just a lot of the Rockstar stuff that they're known for writing. It actually works for that atmosphere of this of school. I don't know if it's middle school or high school, but it works. Not like the GTA 4, but because it's either just like funny, or just a lot of experiences that, just kids being kids and the things they do, and just inane babble they have. A lot of it just works to what they're trying to go for the material that they're working with. It works. They're writing.
Yeah, apparently it's, people regard it as like one of Rockstar's best, in that it's, this interesting, it's like a T-rated game, which is like so strange for Rockstar, because they're always like, oh, let's push the envelope, let's have blood, violence, and sex, and drugs, and then here, they push back to a high school setting, so that's fairly interesting to figure out. Okay, how are they going to work with all this in this new kind of universe? And it looks like they kind of have this amalgamation of different timelines, where it's like the school of the '80s with computers of the '80s, where they have but it's like modern day cars, and you can't really pinpoint where in what timeline. It's like Archer, where it's like we don't know where this takes place in the universe.
Yeah, I get that sense too with Bully. I'm digging just a lot of the things you can do during missions and side quests, with just with mini stories about helping out either some fat girl get her chocolates back, and then she gives you a kiss and things like that, and just helping out some nerd girls with getting her diary back from some popular cheerleader in the bathrooms, and putting a stink bomb in her locker to distract her to get the journal. And just there's like a bum that teaches you how to fight, that's behind a school bus that's just this desolate school bus that hasn't been used. There's nothing there's no tires and stuff, and then you go into the back, and behind that is like his place, his palace that he lives there, and just the interactions that the bum has with the kids there is a lot. It's a lot of fun moments and you can go to classes, and this is a schedule that you have to go through. You can do side quests, and you get a little time display on the upper left or right. That tells you how soon you're gonna have to go to biology class and things like that. I don't know how much of an effect it has towards any story or anything. I don't think it does. It's just sometimes it involves either quick time events. Some involve actually putting your head to use. Like there's the geography one. You pinpoint the countries with the maps with their flags. That's the one, and you have to do it at a certain amount of time, and dissecting frogs and stuff like that. And you get perps to doing those things, like getting either stink bombs for whatever relevant thing you did in those classes, like science and stuff. Just doing the matching up to quick time events and sync up is a lot kind of like Guitar Hero, but with you're hitting the Y, X, and A, B on the 360 controller.
Well, I mean, Bully was always was kind of that one Rockstar game that I never played, and it sounds like you'd recommend it, especially kind of with the the characters and the interesting kind of dynamic of the game, and as well as kind of the interesting activities and missions that you can do.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think what Rockstar should be striving for nowadays, with having their open world games just be fun and not a pain in the butt. There's I got a skateboard, so I'm getting around the school with a skateboard, and just recently the school has been opened up for me, so I can go out and just look around the local neighborhood near the school and shop for stuff, and shop for food and things that will apply to your character, and for side quests too. I just recently did a mission where you get for the lunch lady, where you get some recipes for the food and stuff, and she just is interesting dynamic with her and the main character. I think Jimmy. She's just coughing up a storm into the food and things like that. It's just disgusting. All very, very comedic.
Yeah, that sounds like it sounds like a fun game. And next time the mood strikes me to go buy a game from on Xbox Live on demand, I'll make sure that will be the one.
Yeah, you probably will get the best price on the games on demand, because that Bully is one of those games where it's if you try to buy it online, it's very pricey, much like Hitman Blood Money is for 360. But if you have a fairly decent PC, you could definitely run the game on there and just get it for really cheap. It's just amazing how cheap some of these PC games go down for. I saw Saints Row 3 for $7 on the PC. $7. Oh, that's
damn cheap for such a quality piece of entertainment right there.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Thank goodness I didn't have to manually map the controls for it. It came out at a time where it wasn't before the 360 was released, so they actually were able to, like some older PC games, obviously the 360 hadn't come out for it, so you have to manually map the keys to the controller to make it work and more enjoyable to play than on the mouse. So fortunately enough, they had the settings where you can set it to your 360 controller. All you gotta do is just plug and play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's no shoot. Oh, it's gone. Okay. Well, God damn it.
But yes, Bully is fun. If you haven't played it, it's for those who haven't played it, it's certainly one that's, I guess, I want to say is underlooked. I think the people who were Rockstar fans would have probably played it, but for the ones that haven't played it, it's definitely an interesting endeavor to go into. It's a lot of fun.
Well, alrighty then. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hear that Bully is certainly recommended by Splinter, and I will go pick it up myself when I get a moment.
Yeah, I'll let you know how my progress goes with Dead Space 2.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I know you're gonna like it, buddy. It's gonna be awesome.
I'll see if I can strive to do that hardest difficulty to get that foam gun.
Yeah, that is one of my proudest achievements in gaming, of just being able to get that damn foam gun, because you only have 3 saves at the hardest difficulty, and you got to be very wise, and especially with the swapping out of discs, which is not that bad, but it's still one more thing to do, and I like it. I like the game. I really think it's one of the best games this generation, and I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm digging the whole interface. I'd like to see that be done more in sort of sci-fi or futuristic games where you can see the actual vidcom on your wrist while you're walking around, rather than having cut to a cutscene. You can actually see that transpire right on the interface of the game. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like, Hideo Kojima, come on, buddy, it's right there.
Yeah, you should do the codex like that, and rather than go into the screen for 10 minutes while you're trying to save. You're like, I don't want to talk, I just want to save. Paramedic, I know you want to talk about movies or whatever. I just want to go to sleep.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to kind of what they do with interfaces now that they're becoming less clumsy and less intrusive, and they're giving you a lot more visual space to see the world. So that's awesome, and I'm certainly looking forward to the next batch of video games, especially the next generation coming up and what they do.
Most definitely. So, if you don't have anything else, we should go to the questions.
Perfect.
Let's go load up the page here for questions for episode 130 of Blaythomp's podcast. As always, ladies and gentlemen, you can submit your questions via spill.com on the Blaythomp's podcast group page, or simply tweeting us at Splinter47 and at CHGorog. That's multiple ways away.
Yeah.
Don't be complaining if you can't submit a question in time.
We're at Twitter. We'll announce it all. We'll tell it all at the end. But you can also go on Spill or just send us an inbox message about questions or comments or whatever have you, and then we will be happy to answer.
Hashtag that son of a bitch. Whoa. What was that?
Whoopsie daisies, my mistake.
Did you hit the exit out?
Yeah, I was closing out of a tab, and the damn thing it's stalled. So I clicked the top right corner to close out of it, but I clicked it twice, and I thought it didn't read, but it clicked out of that one. And then the next tab slid on over, and then it clicked out of that one too. It's like I didn't want to do that. What are you doing?
Oh man,
silly, internet things. So anyway, questions.
Questions.
Perfect. Epic fail, but thank you very much for that. The sound effect made my day. Thank you.
Alrighty, so first question on the docket here is from the Ultimate Snyder Man.
Yay, Snyder Man.
And he asks, being that this is Women's History Month, what are the two...
Really?
Well, something like that. Something with women. These, people like making up fake holidays, so we'll go with it.
It's National Dame Month. You get abroad and you celebrate them.
Next week is National Chobot PSP Licking Week.
It is a governmental holiday close to our heart, and most banks do close on that day.
Luckily, yeah, I get the day off for that and watch Chobot looking at PSP on Attack of the Show on loop in the background.
You're just walking around wearing a shirt with her licking a PSP, and then the words "never forget" on the bottom of the shirt.
That'd be a great shirt. I'll wear that.
Yeah.
So his question is, being that this is Women's History Month, what are two female characters that you like the most and dislike the most for whatever reason? I could think of two I like a lot. I probably have that you probably would bring up in this discussion, and we probably will agree on this. It's probably universally agreed upon that the most disliked one. So the start off positively. One is probably that comes to mind is the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, that's a great one.
A good one there. Had an interesting story arc and the way her character went out. And second one is Emily Wyatt from Deadly Premonition.
Absolutely.
Certainly one of my favorite and most certainly one of my favorites and standout characters of that year that the Deadly Premonition came out. Great female character, very innocent and just overall kind person. Just being in this town where shit goes to hell, and just and all the interactions that she has with York is just amazing. The two were meant for each other, and just amazing to see their relationship develop throughout the game, and just doing her side quests. And if you got into that, which is you get a lot out of it doing those side quests. I always say that it fully puts you into that world and makes you feel that this is an actual small town here, that there's genuinely good people here, and a lot of shit goes down. And throughout the game, it was just interesting to see. Just interesting to see a lot of their characters, a lot of more of the stories that some which don't get a lot of the spotlight due to the main story, but you can definitely get their own spotlight in the side quests, and a lot of just dialogue that you hear from characters, and a lot of which make much more sense, and you get more out of it if you did the side quests. Like, I get that. Yeah, it adds a lot more to it. Just going over to Anna Graham's mom's house and looking through her stuff in the house and seeing her dress that she wore and on prom and seeing her picture there, it just brought it all into full circle, what kind of person she was. And doing the Emily side quest was a lot of fun because she was mainly the kind of the thing that she was having trouble with throughout the whole game was learning how to cook. So it was interesting bringing in a bunch of recipes every now and then when the mission was available to do, and seeing that unfold and finally getting that recipe right, and York actually not spitting out his food and enjoying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's great characters. It's hard to make really well written characters, especially ones that are multi-dimensional. And I can't believe I'm forgetting her name. What is the lady cop's name from Deadly Premonition?
Emily White.
Emily White, yeah. My mistake. Thank you very much, and sorry to all the Deadly Premonition fans out there screaming at me. I really liked her character. I think she was honest to goodness, just a good cop, kind-hearted, and it had enough personality quirks. I was like, okay, I can really believe that this person exists, and like in this universe, and it's someone who really grounds the story, especially when the main character is just such an oddball. And it's like, okay, yeah, like this is awesome. I like this character a lot.
So what's your other one, if you happen to have another one that you like?
For my favorite video game characters, I'm probably have to say the female video game character is Jade from Beyond Good and Evil. I really like her. She's the plucky female protagonist, but she's also kind of she's idealistic. She really wants to help out everyone, and I really like her character, and especially just what she does in the entire span of the story of Beyond Good and Evil. I would have to say also I really enjoy the character of Tali, because I love Tali. She's awesome in Mass Effect series, and I think that she's a really well written character. She's hilarious. I think. Yeah, just whenever she gets drunk on the Citadel or on the Normandy, it's always funny just to see what she does, because she's always just running her mouth off just a little bit more than somebody would have the filter over. But she's just she's smart, she is insightful, and I love she's nervous, and if you romance her as the male shepherd, she's very adorable trying to when they're in courting, because she's really awkward and nervous around guys and that's a great character. The ones I don't like, Rose, Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yes.
I do not like that woman. She's it's not even like she's okay. It's not even like she's annoyingly calling you up and reminding you, Jack, do you know what today is? Like, okay, that's strike one, baby. What I don't really like is that I was replaying Metal Gear Solid 2 a little while ago, and it struck me that she doesn't really have a lot of sympathy for him, because Jack was a child soldier. She knew he was a child soldier, like in Algeria, I think. And she's like, "Oh, but you never opened up to me emotionally, and you never did this and that." It's like, I've had to kill people for the good majority of my life. Like, why would I be that open with you? It's like, come on. I know you want to be in a good relationship, but just be a little bit more understanding. And the other character who I don't really like is, one of the female characters I don't really like, right off the top of my head, is Chloe from Call of Duty Black Ops 2, where she's this kind of punk rock looking lady who's a hacker. Of course, like the hacker has to be kind of the stereotypical rebelling against society. But she's really crass. She's cruel. She doesn't really have a sense of appreciation for anyone around her, and she doesn't. And unlike Tali, where Tali doesn't have the conversation filter. But the difference between Chloe, but the difference between them is that when she says something, it's something that enriches the conversation or the experience. With Chloe, it's like a detraction from it, where she's just like, yeah, like, about time you fucking guys got over here and saved my ass. Like, I could leave you to the fishes, but you know what? I'm not going to do that. And I do not like that character. I like the voice actress behind the character, but certainly not the character herself.
Right. Yeah, I can't really think of another one that I dislike, but to add on to what I do, the character I do like that's female is Victoria McPherson from Still Life. I think she's a great character. She's very witty and sarcastic, and always kind of making jokes with her, always joking around with her coworkers. And she's seen a lot of. She's a homicide detective, and she's seen a lot, and she's kind of, I guess, a little bit desensitized about that whole thing. And she's kind of always, she knows when to be serious and when to be kind of witty and sarcastic. There are definitely a lot of good lines with her in that game, and just overall she's a pretty good female character with it. And to add on top of that has a very good interesting storyline that goes on as she's trying to figure out this murder case of this guy who's killing off I believe it was prostitutes. There's always a distinct body parts that go on attacked in those cases. So it's an interesting dynamic of adding in some comedy relief moments, and also adding some really genuine grotesque crime scenes that go into her job, and the interactions she's had with her dad when she goes home to unwind and stuff is really well fleshed out. She's just one of those characters that seems like a really genuine person.
Well, I mean, it always makes the game experience better when you have characters there you like and enjoy, and who can really make you more interested in the world that you're seeing. So it's, I was also thinking of any other characters, female characters who I really like, and Trip from Enslaved, where I really liked her character as well, where she's she's this really smart tech engineer. She's questioning. She uses questionable morality trying to get home because she enslaves Monkey to help her get back home, and she knows it's wrong, and she says she knows it's wrong. But it's just interesting between the dynamic between the two, where she's curious to the point of where she wants to figure out everything around her. And it just like that really, the elements of that character really made me love the universe, and it's very telling of a good group of characters when there's just only really 3 of them, and they're all wonderful, and you can't wait to hear what they say next. And that's certainly the case with Trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's certainly an interesting one there. It's also the curiosity. It almost ends up getting her killed too. That from those moments of just being curious, and I like the development that they go throughout the game, and learn to trust each other more, and not being kind of worried about Monkey doing her wrong, but kind of at the same time is kind of doing things in the beginning under protest, and because he has no choice, because he'll end up getting killed if he doesn't. And getting killed if he does, because he puts himself in these high risk situations. And just seeing the relationship develop throughout the game was really, really well done. So That's a good game, Enslaved.
And then for worst categories, the entire female cast is Soul Calibur, because it's like, okay, they're just there for sex appeal. It's like, oh, they're like. There's the one lady like all dressed in red, where her boobs are basically just like popping out and wiggling everywhere when she moves. Like, okay, come on, guys. I know it's obvious what you're doing, but you don't need to be that blatant with it.
Right. So, yeah, that's a bit of what we like in female characters there. So, and we don't like about female characters. So. Hopefully we don't get another Rose in our games.
Yeah, here's hoping. I mean, in Metal Gear Rising, and it's with Metal Gear Rising, there's not even, she doesn't even make a cameo appearance. So good on them for that. And I'm looking forward to a lot. With Lee Everett and a lot more characters becoming more diverse than just the typical white guy who has the grizzled 5 o'clock shadow. That we'll get a lot more different protagonists out there.
Most def.
Mm.
Not the rapper. Most definitely.
Yes. So, and then we have one more question, I think.
Yes, one more here to wrap up the episode. This is from Transmorpher.
Hey, Transmorpher.
And she asked, if you were paid to make an indie game, what kind of game would you make?
Ooh.
I've had many ideas for games, CH. None of them have come to fruition. The one game I would like to make is a copy and paste of Deus Ex Human Revolution starring Steven Seagal.
that would be worth the price of admission for $60. Even if it's just like, it's the $60 downloadable DLC where you just replace Adam Jensen with Steven Seagal and just all his lines are exactly the same, that would be worth it.
Yes, his amazing delivery, or maybe just I thought of probably some sort of another also copy and paste of Charles Barkley Shut Up and Jam with Steven Seagal. That'd be interesting, putting him in a cyberpunk.
Would Chuck Norris be the Michael Jordan role?
I think so. Either that Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Sounds good to me. It's there's thousands of ideas for indie games, and I always wanted to see if it was possible to do a indie game beat 'em up, like maybe something like God Hand or actually, an arcade beat 'em up would be great too, just like Double Dragon or like the X-Men Days of Future Past video game that they had, and I'd love to see that go and try that. I'd love to see that, but it's also starring I don't know. I'm thinking like the most terrifying human on the face of the planet, Nick Nolte, as the main character, just like scaring everybody away with his growl, like, "What the fuck are you doing over there?" And just having him be the main character. That would be interesting. I always thought that would be interesting. So that'd be my choice for an indie game.
We got a Kickstart.
I'll definitely make sure to get that money. Okay, if Veronica Mars can get funding, we certainly can.
Right. Mm-hmm. After so many years, and all of a sudden getting support. Where were the people there? Where were the people when the show was on?
I do not know, but they're now here in full support, and they've made their. I don't even know what it was. It was like something more than $3 million. Whereas, Veronica Mars. I'm just looking at the Kickstarter.
The Kickstarters.
It got funding within a day. Yep, it's $3.6 million, and it still has 25 days to go.
Goddamn.
Wow. I maybe we should just change. This like set up a Kickstarter like Veronica Mars movie project. It's like, and we just need $1 million to help get another movie made, and then everyone gives us the money. It's like, wait a minute, where's our money going to? Oh, you didn't read carefully? It said the Veronica Mars movie project. As in, we watch Veronica Mars, and then we watch a couple of movies right afterwards. And we need funding for popcorn and beer and what have you, and so. Yeah, and then you'll get a video of us watching the film. We won't make any commentary at all. In fact, we'll just sit there and watch the film. But you can sleep well knowing that your money's gone to a good cause.
Best Kickstarter ever.
That's what technology's for.
So yes, that's our game pitches here. Thank you for the questions, Transmorpher and Ultimate Snyderman.
Yes, thank you very much, Ultimate Snyderman and Transmorpher. You guys are always consistent, consistently wonderful people sending us questions, and we love your support. Thank you very much.
And with that note, we wrap up this episode, 130. How long have we been going for? Let me check the time. It's an hour 54, so that's relatively shorter than last week's.
Well, eventually we'll just shave it down to like, all right, welcome to episode 222 of Blade Thumb. So, CH, how's it going? Going well. Still like video games? Yep. All right. Goodbye, everybody. See you next time.
That'd be the shortest one. I think that would be a nice April Fool's joke to do. but then I just spoil that.
Well, I would be more than happy to do that.
For the best episode ever.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, absolutely.
So yes.
Yeah, it's the end. It's the end of the. As long as our April's Fool's joke, it wasn't the isn't following in the line of the Leog joke that they had, where it's like they had almost a fist fight break out, and they're like, "Aha, fooled you! That wasn't funny at all. What the hell?"
There was some
silly gooses. That's what they are. They're just silly gooses.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, thank you for the questions again, and keep it locked for the prizes for the next episode.
And you follow us on Twitter. My good friend Splinter is at Splinter47 on Twitter. I'm at ch_Gorog. We are on spill.com. Go to the group page for Bloody Thumbs, and then submit questions and just tell us how you're feeling about video games. And also, feel free to send mini reviews that you would like us to review or share, like a couple of sentences to get your thoughts across about a video game, or just put the review on our thread page. You can go to iTunes, subscribe to us there, or go to Better Gaming Bureau and check out us there, and also check out the wonderful people at the Better Gaming Bureau. They are wonderful people. And is there anything else that I forgot?
That's about it. Keep also the iTunes feed. I don't know how many people download the episodes from the iTunes feed, but I still keep it up there just to see if one day we'll make it in the top 10 and beat out podcasts like IGN's or Giant Bombs. That'd be an accomplishment to add on to the resume.
Mm-hmm.
That and the iTunes, and the reason we haven't gotten any mini reviews, so that's why I haven't brought it up. So, but still, we're still accepting them. Be sure to leave them on either on this episode's comments, or like I said, either do the written reviews or the audio reviews and send them over to audio reviews mainly for the email address at bloodythumbspodcast@gmail.com, and be sure to check us to go to the audibletrial.com /bloodythumbs. As always, we've encouraged you to read out there, get your inner juices flowing, and read a book without actually reading it. You listen to the audio review, and you can talk about it with your friends. Have a nice little book club there on us, and we'll support the show for future podcasts, contests, or just equipment in general. That'd be nice to put together for allocate the funds there and putting it towards prizes for future podcasts, or just footing the bill for the podcasting equipment. That'd be nice too.
Absolutely. And thank you for all the support you guys have been giving us and over these many years, and we want to just thank you all from the bottom of our hearts, and keep it locked on to that phrase has been used a lot tonight. Keep it locked on to Bloody Thumbs, but hey, it's true. We love you guys, and stick around because the best is yet to come.
Most definitely. So, for myself, Splinter47, I wish you all a fantastic week, and be nice to each other. I'm trying to do the Jerry Springer monologue. Be kind, be courteous, respect others.
And also make sure you get your fill of Steven Seagal, Jessica Chobot, and Christopher Walken jokes for Bloody Thumbs. So just make sure that you make sure that you keep up with us, and we'll make sure to keep on delivering the goods.
I like how that was on the docket, but nice that you remember the references to bring up.
Of course, I mean, we're obviously going to be getting those personality types on our show eventually. So we got to make sure that we have a good, dedicated fan following of their works. So yeah,
most definitely. So, any final words, CH?
Nope. Just make sure that you keep it locked in to our podcast, and the contest will be going up soon, and so keep your eyes peeled for that.
Fantastic. So take it easy, everybody.
Yep. See you later.